So we need more Black businesses, so that these Black banks can then give us mortgages and give us small business loans, so that then they're doing so much business, they need to open branches in our community. But, if people say bank Black, so let's all move our deposits over to a Black bank. Great, now they have all this money, where do they put it? There's no Black businesses. So it's like, we gotta grow, it's like parallel. When you were a kid, you would put your back behind your friend and push up. Well, that's how Black businesses have to go with the banking and the business side. We have to grow parallel to each other so that our foundation is strong.
Welcome to the Share the Wealth Show, where minority professionals can learn to escape the racial wealth gap and catapult themselves into abundance. Your host, Nicole Pendergrass, grew her net worth from being negative to multiple six figures. Join her on her investigative mission to expose secret strategies of the wealthy so we can all have the tools needed to build the life and legacy we were created to possess. Now it's time for the show.
Hey guys, so we're back again. This is the second part of the episode with today's guest. I need you, if you have not heard part one, go back to the previous episode and listen to that first, and then come back and join us here today. But you're not going to want to miss what they already said, because then you'll be lost with what they're about to say. But in any case, you don't want to miss you need to hear the whole conversation. This is why we split into two parts. There's so many nuggets. It's so juicy. Go back and listen to the first part.
If you here's something, I don't know, have you read the book, The Color of Money? By that Indian
I'm actually
professor.
Still reading it. It's so long, but it's good. I'm like halfway through it.
Yeah. So I read that book, and it's interesting because in the book, it's so true. If you talk to a Black banker from a Black-owned bank, they will tell you that the worst depositor is a Black depositor, the absolute worst. And the reason is because when a Black depositor puts their money in a Black bank, they take that money out 30 to 60 days later because they got to pay rent, they got to pay this, they got to pay that. White depositors leave their money in longer. So that means the bank has deposit to cash ratio is lower. So it's able to loan out more money. So it has less money. It doesn't need as much money on hand. And so the reason for that is because, Black depositors are always needing to pull out their money. But most banks they're not profitable because of their depositors. They're profitable because of their loans. And because Black people don't have any significant amount of businesses, Black banks can't grow. Because Black banks are making money off charging fees. They fee you to death. Fee you for this, fee you for that, But where they want to make money is off lending money to Black businesses. That's where they become wealthy. So we need more Black businesses, so that these Black banks can then give us mortgages and give us small business loans, so that then they're doing so much business, they need to open branches in our community. But, if people say bank Black, so let's all move our deposits over to a Black bank. Great, now they have all this money, where do they put it? There's no Black businesses. So it's like, we got to grow. It's like parallel. When you were a kid, you would put your back behind your friend and push up. Well, that's how Black businesses have to go with the banking and the business side. We have to grow parallel to each other so that our foundation is strong. So one of the things that we want to do is, as we build our real estate fund, is we want to go to these Black banks in America and do what the United States did with Mexico, like 10 years ago. Mexico was going bankrupt. They called all the United States banks and they said, listen, you're each going to loan Mexico. We're going to form a consortium. You're each going to loan Mexico $1 billion. We're going to bail out Mexico. And these banks, and the bank is going to, the United States is going to guarantee these loans. And Mexico was bailed out and these American banks made a fortune. Well, what we want to do is build a private equity fund that has like $100 million in equity. Now, if we have $100 million in equity, that's at least 7 times that in debt. So we want to build a fund that has significant amount of equity that we can go to the Black banks and say, you guys need to form a commercial real estate debt fund where all the Black banks in America, I think there's like 20, 25, 30, put your money in this fund. You all are going to share the risk and you're going to help finance strong, solid, responsible commercial real estate deals that make sense, that have been vetted, and together we will grow in partnership. That's where I see in the future for Black banks if we work together. We can solve a lot of the economic, financial issues in our community if we work together. Somebody asked me the other day, what's your selling proposition? Is it because you're really smart in real estate? I said, no. I said, actually, I'm the dumbest guy in the room. They're like, what do you mean? I said, I have 120 members. Black Lives Matter Real Estate Forum LLC has 120 members. They each paid $1,000 to be a member, one-time membership payment. And out of that, I got 18 lawyers, 17 medical doctors, a bunch of CPAs and PhDs, and like 40 MBAs. I said, I'm the dumbest guy in the room. They said, okay, so what's your selling proposition? I said, here's my selling proposition. Two things. 2 points is my selling proposition. If you talk to doctors, particularly doctors, they would love to invest in Black neighborhoods. But the problem is they don't know these developers. They don't have time to know them. And if you deal with doctors like I do, you don't talk to them during the weekday. You can only talk to them on the weekend because they're in the emergency room. They're serving patients. They don't have time to get to know these people. They don't know which Black developer is credible and not going to rip them off. And let's be honest, everybody complains about the white man. You know what? I have no problem with white people. White people are not ripping me off. Do you know why white people are not ripping me off? Because I don't do business with white people. I don't fear white people. I fear Black people. I fear Black people that look like me that are just low-life crooks. They just steal. And so, yes. So the answer to what our selling proposition is this. People will be able to come to BLM REF Fund number 1 in Black Lives Matter Real Estate Forum, and they will be able to deal with Black people that have credibility, integrity, transparency, and honesty. That's a powerful brand. These doctors are going to say, I can give Thomas Lopez-Pierre this money. He gives me my 15% or more return year after year, and I don't have to worry about any ghetto nonsense. They're not going to strip clubs. They're not doing this. Everything is transparent. Everything is open. Everything is correct. That's a powerful brand. That's why white people put their money with these big corporations for the brand, because they know their stuff is going to be secure. And that's what we are going to be pushing is, you can trust us with our deals. Now, if we do 10 deals, will one go bad? Yeah, but that's the beauty of investing in a fund. If you just invest one deal, it goes bad, you lose your money. But if you invest in a fund that has multiple deals, you won't even notice that if you're getting 19%, 21%, and because a deal went bad, you're only getting 17%, you're not even going to notice for the year. You're just going to be happy. Wow, I beat the Standard and Poor's, and we vet these developers. The second thing that we're building which is very powerful, is if you talk to white corporations, they tell you, we would love to invest in the hood. We just can't find any deals that are $25 million because they have a threshold. They can't put their money. I mean, their lawyers are $500 an hour. They can't do some $1 million deal in the hood. When you do the economics, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. We are building a supply chain, a national supply chain of Black developers all over the country that, we can basically operate as a fund of a fund. That's the direction that we're going in. And that's what we're building. And that's what our Jewish friends, our Asian friends, our Indian friends, and our Arab friends. And I'm going to tell you a joke that I think highlights, it's not so much a joke. It's actually a friend of mine that this girl I used to date, she was Indian. And she told me that her family, when they came to America, her two uncles, her father's in real estate, but she had two uncles, and they both were born in India, and they came here and they became doctors, and they're respectable, high-income earning professionals becoming doctors. Her father was lazy. He was born in America, very lazy. He only got a bachelor's degree. He was a B+ student. Didn't particularly excel academically. He took some time for him in his 20s to find his way. He was corrupted by American values. Now, if you're a Black parent, you're probably thinking, oh my God, my son is doing so well. But, Indians become, they're known for their academic. You go to a hospital, the Black doctors are from Nigeria, and the rest of the doctors are Indians, Asians, and Jews. And so the two doctors are here in America, and they're very embarrassed, great shame of their younger brother who's been corrupted with American values. He's very lazy. So, the younger brother said, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do this, some silly stuff. I think, what was the business? It was a very silly business. I want to do like motels, and something called commercial real estate. And the brothers were, they were embarrassed, but they were happy he found something to play at. So they gave him $100,000. Anyway, long story short, 5 years later, he bought his mother the biggest house in town, and he paid off his brother's student loans, their medical school loans. Why? Because what these brothers didn't understand is that we don't live in an education society in America. We live in a capitalist society. And the younger brother, who was corrupted by American values and so-called lazy, he invested in a whole bunch of motels. If you know anything about traveling, you know that Indians dominate the motel business on the highways. They dominate. And so we could do the same thing as a people. We could come together and put our people to work. If Tyrone has a job, he'll pay his child support, for his baby mama, and he won't be engaging in criminal activity. Yes, babe, listen.
I know.
Listen, 70% of all Black babies in America are born outside of marriage. I'm not advocating, I'm just saying that
I know.
that every study states that if two people are married living in the same house, it's like having a roommate. The economics are better. And so, the only time Asians have children out of wedlock is when the father is black man.
I told you guys it was a firestorm.
So, if we look at these different groups, they are just immensely successful at leveraging capitalism. And instead of being angry at them, I think we need to learn to what they do right and reconfigure it to fit our values and our needs in our community. We have to stop, as Black people, making white folks so rich.
So, okay, gosh, we definitely need to wrap up. But with that last statement, I have another question. So, as we know, we are not the majority owner of businesses and real estate and all those kind of things and these opportunities that are in America. And what I have heard somebody say that kind of hit me and made me start thinking differently is that instead of, because the whole thing about closing the wealth gap, it's almost like that's impossible. Like we can increase our net worth, but at any time a Black person is doing business, most of the time, the people with opportunities are of other ethnicities. And so you're helping increase with your own opportunity, where you're helping increase your family's position, you're increasing other families' positions at the same time, because maybe you're partnered together. So how are we like addressing that? You know what I mean? Like, are we just worried about increasing our net worth, and how are we getting ownership and stop, like how you said, stop making other people rich? But we kind of need to partner with people who have opportunities and who have knowledge and resources. So I don't know, is there something you
it's a catch.
How we do that?
It's a catch-22. It's like, Robert Smith, who is the billionaire that paid off, what was the school in Atlanta? He paid off their student loans.
Yeah, I remember, but I don't remember what school. Which it was
was it Morehouse?
HBCU.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not sure.
I think it was. Yeah, it was Morehouse. It was Morehouse because Howard is in DC. And what's interesting is I like talking about Robert Smith and Bloomberg. So Robert Smith and Bloomberg both worked at Goldman Sachs. Bloomberg got disrespected, and he wasn't given the CEO position, general partner position, and so he left and he started Bloomberg, and he became a billionaire, very successful. Robert Smith was at Goldman Sachs, and he was making $1 million a year, and his mother was like, "Oh my God, why would you quit? You're making really good money. This is crazy." But Robert Smith saw what the white boys are doing, and he knew that you'll never make the real money by working for somebody else. So he quit. He started his own shop, and he invested in something that was new, which was enterprise software. We use it all day. I use Constant Contact, LinkedIn, all these type of different softwares, B2B, and he made a killing, and now he's a billionaire. And so it's hard, it's hard for Black folks to leave their comfortable position. And I'm not advocating that they leave. I'm saying, instead of trying to keep up with the Jones, because everybody thinks it's a Tyrone in the projects who's buying, $300 sneakers when he's on public assistance, his family's on public assistance. Why would they do that? That's crazy. I'm not going to be critical of them because they don't know any better. I'm critical of the Black professional who has to put their kids in these elite schools, be a member of the private club, drive luxury car, when all they're doing is spending their disposable income and putting a couple of dollars in their 401k, when they should live below their means, take that money and invest it in wealth building opportunities. If you're going to live the Gucci lifestyle, the bling bling lifestyle, do it off passive income. Don't do it off earned income. And so, we need these Black professionals. I can't even tell you how many times I talk to Black professionals and they tell me, oh, I would love to invest, but right now I'm renovating my house in the Hamptons. and I'm like, oh, you have a multifamily in the Hamptons? That's great. They said, no, it's the family house. I said, so you're not earning any money off that property. It's just sitting there until you use it. So yeah, he said, yeah, that's our investment. I said, that's not an investment. Black people, I hate to break it to you, your home is not an investment. Your home is an expense. You have to pay a mortgage for that. If you stop paying the mortgage, you get foreclosed on. An investment is when you have tenants paying you rent, and if they stop paying you rent, you evict them. That's an investment, Black people. Food for thought. So invest in things that produce cash flow, not things that make you feel like a bourgeois, feeling important because you achieved some social status. Cash flow, people. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Because as Black professionals, you want to make sure you have money. You want to be able to tell the white man, I'm getting the out of this place, y'all. And so you can't do that because your wife expects you to be this important person. You gotta pay the summer home. You gotta go to Martha's Vineyards. Your kids, you are a slave. You're just a high paid slave. I teach my children. I said, listen. I told my son Marcus. I said, listen. I don't want you bouncing a ball. I don't want you being a basketball player and bouncing a ball. I want you to be the person that owns the team and has people bouncing the ball for him or her. Like, own the team, not be the slave on the field. And that field could be a basketball player, a football player, or whatever. Own the team. There was, I forgot that there's this player that works for the Lakers. He's the top player there. I forget his name. He's, I forgot his name.
LeBron?
Yeah, LeBron, right. LeBron. It was in the paper. LeBron was saying this and saying that and this and that. The white female that owns the Lakers, she rarely talks to the press, but she got tired of listening to LeBron's mouth. So she got told the papers, I own the team and I made the decision, and, good or bad, it's my team.
Yeah.
Man,
well, you know what? You have given us a lot to think about. You have great thoughts, and like you're underlying the whole thing about like having that passive income. Like, don't spend earned income on frivolous things, trying to keep up with the Joneses. The whole takeaway is have passive income, and that can pay for your, expensive lifestyle or the other things that you want, and those other, like, the doodads.
Wait, don't go yet. Have you been looking for a way to get started in real estate investing, but you just don't know how? You need the Launchpad. It's brought to you by my company, Norvest Holdings. And the Launchpad is a free guide with a ton of resources I've compiled to help you invest into your first real estate syndication. It includes terminology, book resources, video explanations, all the information that you need. Don't know what a syndication is? I got you covered. How to find a good operator, how to even tell if a deal is good or not without having to know how to underwrite it all. It's all in there. The Launchpad is designed to help launch you into the next stage of your investing career and get you invested into your first multifamily syndication as a passive investor, meaning you can be a landlord and own a piece of a large apartment building, but still go about your day-to-day life without having to stop and learn every single detail about what's under the hood and how it all works. The link to the guide is in the show notes. Make sure you sign up today. Again, this is a free resource and guide. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. Now let's finish up the show.
But okay, so I got to ask you the last couple questions. First, Monopoly. I know you played Monopoly before.
I love it. My favorite game.
Good. So in Monopoly, Boardwalk or Baltic, what is your strategy for winning the game? Which one are you buying if you could only buy one?
Boardwalk.
Why?
It pays the most. It is, it costs less, but the payout is lower.
Got that.
But I would still buy all three of those low paying because, you're going to land on it. And, I buy the utilities too.
All right. So you're well-rounded, diversified. That leads me actually to my next question. Warren Buffett said that diversification is protection against ignorance. And I kind of take that to mean that people diversify when they don't really know what they're doing to spread their risk around. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But what are your thoughts on that? What do you think that statement means?
Well, we're raising $1 million this year to give us a strong track record. I'm not investing $1 million in one property. I'm investing $1 million in 10 properties. I'm not investing $1 million in 4 properties, $250,000 each. I'm investing $100,000 into 10 properties. And I believe in diversifying. And so it makes sense. And not just we're investing in the Northeast. So Baltimore, Philadelphia, DC, Boston. I mean, I was just in Boston this weekend. We put $100,000 in a teardown situation with a Black real estate developer there. And we're very excited about that. And so, I love diversity, and we're not putting all our money with any one developer. We're going to have 10 developers. And so, listen, I'm the stupidest guy in the room, and I want to profit from the brilliance of these guys that are on the ground. There's a movie called Jobs. It talks about Steve Jobs and Apple. And in the movie, he was arguing with his number 2. And his number 2 said to him, "Why does your name get to be the name of the company? You're not an engineer. You're not a coder. You're not this. You're not that." And Steve Jobs turned at him and told him, "You would be nothing but an overpaid engineer in the basement if it wasn't for me." I said, the reason my name gets to be on the company is because I'm the one that had the vision. And so I have 120 members, all smarter than me. Half of them are Ivy League educated. And I'm grateful for their brilliance and their intellect and their capital. But, I'm the one that had the vision to organize a national fund to build wealth and create jobs for Black people. And I'm grateful for their support. And, and 3 generations from now, my family is going to be like, wow, we're glad that our great-great-grandfather thought of this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so fantastic. And Thomas, how can people get in touch with you? Should they reach out to you on social media? Should they email you?
They can definitely find me on LinkedIn. I have over 24,000 connections on LinkedIn. And what's interesting, my connections on LinkedIn, I got no school teachers, social workers, connections on LinkedIn. I have over 5,000 doctors that I'm connected to on LinkedIn. Primary on LinkedIn, I'm connected to lawyers, doctors, real estate developers and professionals, and Wall Street types and regulators. Like if you used to work for Fannie Mae or the Federal Reserve or the SEC, I love connecting to you. And so if you're one of those types, definitely want to connect to you. Otherwise, email me directly. At my website, blmref.com, blmref.com. And I'm a reachable guy. I'll take a phone call with you. And I share information. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 25 years old. I worked for the white man. I'm 53 years old. I have not worked for the white man in 28 years. I've never gone hungry. Because I've been smart about how I manage my finances, and I really believe that the only way to true wealth is to have money and to be financially secure. Like I don't care what white people say. I don't care what white people think. I don't even care what other Black people think. Like I'm like, if you're not one of my investors, like really your opinion, it's an opinion.
All right, and I think it's F you money. F me money.
Right? Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I say F me? I said F you. Right. Yeah, I meant F you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is probably the most risque episode we've had so far.
Yeah, I'm the
Oh my
wrong
goodness,
guy.
I'm so glad that you came on, man. This is people's minds are going to be blown, and I really hope they reach out to you.
Somebody told me, he said, Thomas, why do you get to say the things? I said, you know why I get to say the things I want? Because I don't work for anybody. Like you work in a corporation. Yeah, it's like I could put anything I want on social media and I don't have to worry about the human resources department calling me and saying, we didn't like what you said. I fire clients. If my clients become too much of a pain, I'm like, yeah, this is not working.
Okay. That's a whole nother conversation because I've definitely heard that too. It's all about your internal peace. But look, we got to go. We got to go. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on, everyone.
I'm so happy
to be here. Thank you for listening. And thank you, Thomas.
All the best.
All right.
Did you love this episode of Share the Wealth Show? Be sure to connect with Nicole by following her on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. If you picked up any of the gems that were dropped by today's guest, make sure you not only put them in your bag, but if you know of someone who would benefit from this information, don't keep it to yourself. Share the wealth and make sure to leave us a rating and review. We'll see you for next week's episode. Subscribe so you'll be notified.